The first day of conclave has come and gone, and the Catholic Church is still without a pope. Black smoke poured from the Sistine Chapel chimney this afternoon, signaling that cardinals failed to elect a pope on their first try. The Vatican has said all along that it didn't expect an election on the first ballot. The cardinals now return to a hotel in the Vatican for the night, and they'll return for a mass tomorrow morning and a new round of voting.
Many American Catholics are following this process closely. They're praying as the new leader of their faith is chosen. The new pope has quite the job ahead of him as the church is plagued by scandal and bad management. What are Americans looking for in a new pope? Joining us live tonight from Rome is NBC's Lester Holt. Lester, good to see you. Is there one overriding issue that American Catholics are putting front and center for the new pope?
I don't know if it's one issue, but I think the broader issue is polls suggest that a lot of American Catholics believe the church is a little out of step on social issues, and are looking for the church to be more inclusive and perhaps embrace more modern ways of thinking as they see it. Now, we know the traditional issues in which there's been a disconnect: abortion, the role of women, the role of homosexuality, and those sorts of things. Gay marriage, for example, there have been polls showing a disconnect there. So I think there's a sense of Catholics we've talked to, many of them here, who just happen to be on spring break, visiting Rome, visiting the Vatican, and finding themselves caught up in watching history. Many of them are just looking for the church to become more inclusive. And adding an interesting twist to all this, we should note, is that in recent days, two American cardinals, Dolan from New York, O'Malley from Boston, have been kind of added in the mix of those considered front runners to become the next pope. That's got a lot of Americans wondering, of course, what that would mean to the church in America, if they might be more open to change. Some say the conclave is really divided in two camps, among the reformers and those who want to continue with the traditional ways of thinking. So it's all going to play out here in the next few days, and American Catholics, both visiting here and certainly at home, will be watching quite carefully.
And as you watch, Lester, it's beautiful, it's very solemn. You almost get the feeling the church is looking for a little PR bounce out of all of the activity there in Rome. But again, every time you turn on the coverage, a lot of the reporting here still mentions the scandals.
Well, I think when you talk about the future of the church, and keep in mind, these cardinals spent the last week in these, what they call congregations, talking about all these issues, talking about the management issues of the church. Of course, the church sex abuse crisis and things like the American disconnect with American Catholics. So they're not necessarily running away from these things. As far as the conclave itself, it is one of those kind of uniting moments because it is simply fascinating to watch. Fascinating to watch thousands of people that crowded in St. Peter's Square here tonight, watching, looking at that chimney pipe, knowing largely it was going to be black smoke, but still wanting to be there. As the rain poured down and the black smoke poured out, it was quite a sight to behold.
Yeah, Lester Holt, there on the front lines of history in Rome, in Vatican City. Lester, thank you for your time live tonight. And you can see Lester's full report about what Americans want for their next pope. That's coming up on NBC Nightly News with Brian Williams at 6:30 right here on Wood TV 8.